what? I don't really want to talk about this, and nobody's probably going to watch it, but I feel like a certain obligation to breach subject, gun control in this country, right? The this I'm talking to you from the United States of America, and we love our guns. Um, I think, once it kind of comes into your world a little bit, it makes it a little bit more real. Depending on where you live, might have affected you or not. My friend Marianne had to corral the kids for safety, and they call it Newton. It's Newtown, Connecticut. My cousins were in Littleton, Colorado. As far as the gun lobby is concerned, one thing that I think we can look at in order to understand our sort of obsession with guns. Most recently, there was a scare on toilet paper. Literally, like there was a rumor that we were going to run out of toilet paper. Somehow your toilet paper was going to be taken from you. And in this country, we bought the shelves clean. I mean, literally, nationwide, freaking. Fear motivates us a lot. Just does, Fear is an easy sell, right? Fear of not having a gun. If somebody else has a gun, I don't think I have to go into it too much. The assault rifle. Assault rifles, I've seen assault rifles from time to time. I'm not a gun enthusiast, so I don't see them a lot. The time that I'm thinking about, I can't really talk too much about because these guys were apparently part of this was quite some time ago. There was, and there probably still is, kind of like militia groups. This is back when I was younger, like partying a lot, right? And I met these cool guys, and we stopped back at their pad in the neighborhood. We were going out, and they were part of I guess it's a professional army, something like this. Not bad people, you know what I mean? They like to fight. When we stopped at their place before we were going out, I can't remember the details, but they were fighting, like physically fighting with one another. And one guy was so stressed he couldn't close his hand. Like he kept his hands freaking, so the details I don't really know. But it was a crazy night, and they were friendly, kind of crazy. But they had big assault rifles at the place. Later that night, the car that he was driving went off the road and was disabled. So he hit a button and grabbed like a bug-out bag, I guess you call it, I don't know. A button in the car would let the organizers of this organization find the vehicle. We got out. He brought a handgun that was in a safe in his car and his bug-out bag, and that's about all I'm going to say about that. The concern with a gun is this, right? Fear often manifests in action, and when you've got two people in fear of one another, both afraid that the other one's going to shoot with their gun, chances are, better than not, that somebody's going to get shot. So, naturally you're thinking, well, I don't want to be the guy caught without the gun, I'd rather shoot the other guy, right? We've created a situation here, we have a situation where, there's that mentality that's going to make people want to have guns, right? This isn't the Wild West where lawlessness was conducive. I don't know. I think you can see where the complications from that gun mentality might come from. I don't really have the answers. I just feel like feel a certain social obligation, like mentioned. The concerns. I don't. I've shot guns. It can be interesting, target shooting, whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm not like, I don't know, whatever. And I think hunting would be interesting. I don't have the patience. The time that probably I had the most familiarity with weapons, I personally had the good fortune to be able to, sort of navigate through difficult circumstances whereby I'm not getting shot and I don't need a weapon. I was in the desert riding a horse once, and just outside of Petra in Jordan, and Jordan's a country far away. And before I left, my friend Christopher had given me this knife. I think he gave me more than one thing, but there was a knife that you could pull a blade from a necklace that looked kind of cool. And it was nice of him. I was going to go travel Middle East, Africa, and stuff like that. But as I pointed out to him, I was like, honestly, man, if somebody wants my camera that bad, I'm not going to kill him. You know what I mean? And that's a little bit of the mentality that I kind of have as it applies to weapons. There's times when having a weapon is going to be beneficial. I think, in that particular case, I was in the middle of the desert, and that's up very loud. I was in the middle of the desert, and these guys rode up on horses. I was on a horse, and there was maybe 4 of them, right? And I knew they were coming from my bag, right? The camera and whatever, right? But I don't know. If I had a weapon, I'm not sure how I would have managed. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a good idea. Like, I probably would have just incited more violence and maybe not done too well, right? In that case, fun enough. I try and keep it light. This is kind of a heavy subject, so for me, keep it light. But anyway, in that case, I thought at the very least I want to let these guys know that I'm not happy about their behavior. They had, like, their face was partially covered. I mean, it was very scary. They looked like those sort of warriors from, one guy had military fatigues from, we had a war going on at that time. But anyway, so I thought, well, I'm going to get off my freaking horse and at least tell them I'm upset. So I yelled at them, right? Got off my horse. And when you're on the freaking ground in a big, massive desert, everybody else is sitting on top of a horse, you feel really freaking small. So I yelled at them, said what I thought, and all things couldn't believe it. They turned and ran away. They ran away. And I felt a certain sense of accomplishment. I had my bag, I had my life, and then ironically, in that case, my freaking horse ran with him. I followed my footprints back through, but and that just sucks, because then you're worried about, like, is everybody against me and stuff like that. We're not like just kind of keep in mind, I mean, if it really comes down to it, if freaking bad guys break into your house and you're the responsible guy, you got your guns in a safe, somebody's freaking holding you up, they got the gun out, you probably don't. It's kind of unrealistic, you know what I mean? So as far as that fear-based justification, probably not gonna. The one time I did carry a gun, I was, and this is interesting, this is very interesting, it's one of the more fearful moments that I think about, very unpleasant. I was in Alaska. I was climbing a volcano. You don't think about climbing volcanoes in Alaska, but there's volcanoes. On an island called Krizov Island. I'd been surfing on this island. And I thought, while I was surfing there, I thought, I want to go climb that. Boat captain was like, to run you out there, drop you off. Wasn't supposed to. There's no full-time residents, so there was a lot of bears, grizzly bears, and the boat captain, very cool guy. As he dropped me off, handed me this gun, massive freaking thing, man. And I was like, nah, I'm good. He's like, no, I'm not leaving here, because there's a lot of grizzlies, a lot of them, like, really high concentration. And it was just 4, 10. think it's called Big Bullet. I don't know. Yeah, kind of crazy. It was like fitting a cordless drill holster because it had a scope on it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I couldn't fit it on my backpack. I had it on my chest, right? And at some point, a freaking deer spooked me. I freaking thought, super stupid. Don't freaking shoot a bear. But it spooked me, and this is what happens. I think it's a good example. You get nervous, bad things happen. Freaking reached for the gun, nearly blew my freaking arm off. True story, right? So, and then the other thing was, it was really weird. There was a group of people camping on the island. There was like a cabin, and nice people. There was a nice young lady who was getting along with, just friendly chat, but it was, we were getting along. And I don't know if this other guy was a freaking weirdo, liked her, or what the deal was, but there was tension. So I was like, well, I came to go climb the volcano. I'm out of here anyway. And I remember when I got there, I don't know what to do with guns. I don't freaking carry them, right? So it's a big family. I don't freaking walk around with a gun, right? So I made a point of being like, I'm going to put my gun up here. But that all of a sudden, that already creates a freaking weirdness, right? So there's a danger to it. So I felt like I was more in danger, and this guy was, I don't know, drinking, and they had guns and whatever, right? But I think it's a good example because all of a sudden there was a gun element to what would otherwise just be somebody who doesn't like me that made me feel more threatened than I normally would. And I climbed the volcano. The next day I was coming out. And as I was coming down the trail to meet the boat captain, older woman of the group was kind of sitting there at the trail, possibly waiting for me, possibly just enjoying whatever it is, but she was just like, just keep moving, and I was like, cool, I'm out of here, you know what I mean? But I can kind of, I think that's a good example of the danger of what you think is going to bring you safety. That's about all I got to say about that.